Welcome back to the pop culture discussion. I am your host Robert, and after 2 years of announcements, leaks, and trailers, Deadpool and Wolverine is finally here. Now, the previous Deadpool and Wolverine movies have always had a special place in my heart, as Deadpool was literally my favorite superhero in high school, and Hughjackman has always been my favorite actor of all time. Literally ask anyone who knows me and they will agree. So the first two Deadpool movies and a handful of the original X-Men movies were always extremely highly regarded in my opinion. So going into this movie, to say my expectations were sky high is a literal understatement. Not only did I go into Deadpool and Wolverine with the expectation that this would be my favorite movie of the year, but with the current state of the MCU, these two Hollywood masterclasses now had a hell of a job on their hands with living up to the hype of this movie and fixing the state of an entire cinematic universe. So, with Sexiest Man Alive 2008 and 2010 up for the task in delivering one of the greatest superhero movies of all time? Let's dive straight into the review to find out. And don't worry, this will be completely spoiler free for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Disney treads new territories of excellence with Deadpool and Wolverine seamlessly blending into the MCU with creative sequences of shockingly gory action, hilarious character chemistry, and wholesome, heartfelt surprises. Disney fully embraces the chaotically crude and disturbingly violent side of Deadpool within the opening scene. As obvious as it is that the story is set within the MCU, the tone, writing, and action is ripped straight from the original Deadpool movies, as the screenplay blends in perfectly as the third installment to the Deadpool trilogy. Ryanreynolds and Hughjackman clash perfectly with natural electric chemistry full of hilarious one-liners, crude quips, and aggressive monologues, crafting sincere and earned character growth. Knowing that Ryanreynolds and Hughjackman are best friends in real life really cements the chemistry these two have on screen. As obviously opposite as the personalities of these characters are, the buddy cop dynamic these two bring to screen is uncanny and extremely entertaining. As aggressively funny as the banter between these characters are, the wholesome, heartfelt moments of character growth continue to shine strong, with a perfect mix of tones, highly personal stakes, and brutally honest dialogue. The ridiculously crazy fourth wall breaks, constantly amazing cameos, and insane level of references craft massive amounts of pleasant surprises through high-stakes multiverse storytelling. Deadpool is not only constantly calling out Disney, Fox, and every superhero involved with them, but the actors behind these roles are also constantly made fun of. Absolutely nothing is off limits or out of bounds when it comes to being grilled by Deadpool in this movie. The multiverse is finally perfected within the MCU, with a crazy amount of cameos and character returns who actually get a sequence or an extended scene to shine. The days of cheering at the screen towards fan favorite characters within a movie of the MCU has finally returned, and watching these scenes with the fans is absolutely the preferred way to do so. Plus the fact that this movie easily has the most comic accurate character designs I've ever seen on the big screen, making you love these characters even more than you did before. The bloody fights and creatively gory kills craft large-scale brawls of adrenaline-pumping action with brutal choreography, a wide variety of weaponry, and hard-hitting power sets. Not only is this movie worth watching multiple times to catch every Easter egg and cameo on screen, but with the amount of team-ups and action happening all at once, you honestly don't know which character to watch at times. I wouldn't say Deadpool 3 is on the same scale as Infinity War or Endgame, but it definitely feels larger than Civil War and Multiverse of Madness. So with this fitting somewhere in between those movies in a sense of scale, you understand the size of the fights at hand without going into specifics. As much as the trailers have shown for this movie, Most of these scenes only take part in the first act of the movie, so don't worry, you will absolutely be in for a crazy amount of entertaining surprises. I'm not sure if it's because these are some of my favorite fictional characters of all time, or because the love that these actors have for these characters and the passion and fun that they're having within the storytelling is so easy to embrace as a member of the audience, but I'm personally really struggling to find any criticism about this movie. Sure, there's some obvious CGI, silly slapstick humor, cringy dialogue, and dragged out jokes that didn't really land for me, but that's the same kind of little nitpicks that I had with the previous Deadpool movies, and those are still some of my favorite superhero movies of all time. For the average viewer though, as much as this movie tries not to rely on the fact that you might not have seen every previous Marvel project before this point, there's still some big storytelling moments and reveals that will only have the impact the movie is hoping for if you're up to date with everything. Yes, you can absolutely watch this movie without seeing a whole lot of the previous Marvel projects, but you may be confused or just think this movie is full of so many random things for the sake of it if you don't understand the massive amount of references on display. This fond farewell to the Fox Studios superhero style of storytelling not only presents a perfect ending to the Deadpool trilogy, but blends multiple genres, characters, and references to keep every generation of superhero lovers extremely entertained. Deadpool and Wolverine for me gets a 10 out of 10. Now, the little nitpicks I had with it honestly weren't enough to destroy any part of the joy and fun I experienced throughout this entire movie. And not only did Deadpool and Wolverine absolutely live up to the hype and was exactly what I wanted it to be, but every single character return was done so well that I didn't realize how much I really missed these actors in these roles until watching this movie, especially Hughjackman as Wolverine. Having grown up with the X-Men movies and not seeing Jackman return to this role since 2017 was honestly the biggest highlight of this movie for me. It would honestly be like Iron Man returning to a future MCU movie for the younger generation that grew up with him. And now that the MCU has shown that they can do these comebacks with the proper love and respect these characters deserve, I would completely be on board with Robert Downey Jr. returning to the role. Thank you for watching my review of Deadpool and Wolverine. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this movie, and let's keep the Deadpool 3 chat going. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good feeling to be able to positively talk about the MCU again, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and I will see you all in my next video.